Go. Cool. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning for me. I'm not sure where folks are joining us from, but thank you so much for joining us. One last call to just join our training channel. I haven't seen many people pop in over there. We're going to be doing some hands-on practice in the channel today. So if you are able to, I definitely encourage you to search for and join that channel. I'll also put the channel name up on my screen later on in the session when we get there as well. But welcome everyone. My name is Chrissy. And so welcome to today's User Essentials for the new eXp agent community. I should have some colleagues joining me from Slack to help out with any questions that you may have. Feel free to post them in that training channel. That's where I'll be focused. More of my attention will be focused today as I'm kind of juggling a few different screens and stuff to show you all everything there is to know about Slack. So thanks for not only being our group of beta users, who are the first people that we're launching the community to, but also for being here today. So our goal in today's session is to really learn how to get the most out of Slack together. My slides are a little stuck here. Let's see. Okay. So we'll be covering some of the foundational best practices and discussing just some of the specific ways that Slack is set up for your eXp community. Like I said, I've planned some interactive portions of the session that's going to be conducted in that training channel. So if at all possible, I definitely recommend having both Google Meet and Slack open so that you can all get the most out of what we are doing today. So our agenda for today is really pretty straightforward. We're going to introduce you to the eXp agent community in Slack. We'll cover some ways to collaborate effectively with fellow agents and with folks on the eXp side as well. We'll also talk about some tips and tricks for boosting your own productivity within the community and offering some different flexible communication tools as well. So as many of you might know, Workplace by Meta is sunsetting, and so eXp has chosen Slack as the home for your community to keep your community connected and thriving. And we really hope that we have designed it in such a way that you guys will all get a lot out of being there. So why have we chosen Slack for the eXp agent community? First of all, Slack allows for more immediate real-time conversations that can really make it feel like you are collaborating alongside your fellow agents and eXp folks as well. So like, let's say that you need a quick answer from a broker, or you want to share a time-sensitive lead with peers in your area. Slack is really built for that, and there are a lot of flexible collaboration options that you have in order to have those conversations and get work done. So to give you all the best experience, your new home in Slack, the eXp agent community is specially set up to help you all connect with everyone that you need to. And so a few things that means for you. First of all, we've built this as sort of a single hub for collaboration. The agent community workspace is directly linked to the eXp corporate workspace, which really helps bring everyone together in one place using a feature called Slack Connect. You don't need to know too much about the ins and outs of Slack Connect. You don't need to do anything special. Our custom apps that we've developed really help handle all of the connections automatically. But if you hear folks talk about Slack Connect, that's really what that's for. It's to establish that connection between the corporate side and the community side. So in addition to the direct access to eXp Corporate through this setup, Slack is also designed to keep conversations organized by topic so that you always know where to go to collaborate. And then one other thing that I think really sets Slack apart that we think will be especially powerful for you guys as a community of busy on-the-go agents is our powerful mobile app. So we'll spend a good deal of our time today just talking through some of these benefits and how you can all really get the most out of them. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about how the community is set up, I want to talk about how to use it to collaborate effectively. So you might be used to working in groups in Workplace, but in Slack, the primary place for collaborations is in channels. So you can think of channels as more focused, organized versions of those groups that are all going to be dedicated to a single topic. We also have direct messages for any one-on-one conversations that you need to have. But throughout today's session, we will be mostly focused on working in channels. Okay, so as we start collaborating in channels, it's really important to understand who you'll be working alongside. Because of the way that the community is set up, you're going to be interacting with two main groups. First of all, your peers, your fellow eXp agents from right here within the agent community workspace. And then secondly, you'll also be collaborating directly with eXp corporate staff. And they'll be joining these channels from their main corporate workspace, which is called the eXp Collective. So a helpful pro tip on how to just quickly and easily tell who is who. As you can see on the example in the slide, just look for that eXp logo in the lower right-hand corner of a person's profile photo, the white logo. That's going to be your visual cue that you are speaking with a member of the corporate team. And so knowing your audience is going to be a great first step to ensuring that you have this clear and effective communication. Okay. A workspace URL to get on. Okay, I see Marcus here, so we should have folks coming into the chat to answer some of those questions. Okay, so there are two main types of channels in Slack. First of all, public channels are going to be the primary place for you to work when you're in Slack. These channels are open for anyone at your company to join or find in search, which makes them really ideal for any transparent and collaborative work that you need to get done. For sensitive or confidential conversations, you can use private channels. So only folks that are explicitly invited by existing members of those channels can view that channel or can find its contents in search. So for example, you might use private channels if you are if you're working with a customer and you're or a client and you're exchanging customer data or something like that. That would be a good place or a good reason to use a private channel. I just want to quickly call your attention to the icons for these different types of channels. So public channels in your sidebar are going to have this hash icon. And then private channels are going to have this lock icon next to them. So this is just, again, a quick visual cue on how to differentiate between a private and a public channel. Okay, so whenever appropriate, I definitely recommend working in public channels for that open and inclusive collaboration. We really think that Slack is most powerful when it's used as a collaborative space so that you can have open and informative discussions with one another. When we say public channels, we just mean public to the EXP community and to agent community and to the EXP corporate staff as well. So it's just those two groups that will have access to that information when we talk about public channels. So direct messages can be really great for private one-on-one conversations, but they can also accidentally create kind of silos of information. So let's say a fellow agent asks you a great question in a DM, that means that no one else gets to see the answer. So by moving these types of conversations into a relevant public channel, you can really help build a searchable knowledge base across the community that everyone can benefit from, giving folks really quick and easy access to the information that's shared there. So I want to talk a little bit about the process for requesting a Slack channel. So for the EXP agent community, we're going to use a custom app that we have built to create channels. If you are familiar with using Slack through another role or at a different organization, you might be used to just being able to create channels natively in Slack, but we've developed a custom app that, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, whenever a new channel is requested, it's going to be set up correctly so that it's shared with the EXP corporate side. So we're going to ask everyone to go ahead and request all of their channels through our custom Grid Connections app. So there are a few reasons why we're using that app. In addition to the configuration that it establishes with the corporate side, it's also automatically going to apply EXP's official naming standards to the channels that are created for the community. So I'm going to show you all how to request a channel in Slack, and I'm going to demo it for you. I'll also point you in the direction of some documentation for how you can do this on your own. I do ask, we noticed in training yesterday that we had a little bit of an overload with many people trying to request channels all at once. So I'm going to ask that you, if you can, try to take this step after the training. It's something that we're working on resolving, but I still want to show it to you so that everyone kind of gets the benefit of seeing it live in action. Okay, so I'm going to switch on over to a test Slack workspace that I have set up here. So especially if it's my first time requesting a channel, the best way for me to get started is going to be to head up to my search bar up here and then to just search for request channel. And you'll notice that it pops up this shortcut, request channel with EXP Grid Connection. This is the shortcut for the app that's been developed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that. Now, let's say that I am based in Boston, Massachusetts, and I notice that there isn't an agent community set up for Boston yet. And I want just one space for everyone in the area to come together and to be able to network and share information about the market and things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to give the channel a name that seems relevant to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in Boston Agents. And then I have a drop down here for channel purpose, for the channel purpose. So we have a list of channel purposes for you to all choose from. So this is going to be a networking, just a networking channel for folks to connect. So I'm going to select networking. You'll notice that when I select it, it gives me a really brief description of the purpose of the channel, just so I can make sure that I've selected the correct one. And anytime that you change or that you select a new channel purpose, the description right underneath that field is going to change. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to leave it as networking. This is a channel that's mostly going to be used by folks in the US. So I'm going to select that country from drop down here. And because it's a networking channel and I want everyone to have the benefit of the conversations that are going on there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select it as a public channel. You'll notice that as I make these selections, it's kind of going to build the channel name for me at the top here so that I can make sure that it looks the way that I want it to. And then from this form, I can also go ahead and I can start to add folks that I know that I want to invite to the channel. And you can add folks from both the agent side and the EXP corporate side from this field. We got this question in training yesterday. From this form, there's a maximum of 99 people that you can add through this form. And it's just because we wanted to prevent folks from creating huge channels that tons and tons of people were invited to. You can always add folks to the channel later by inviting them, or if it's a public channel, they'll be able to find and search for that channel as well. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click next. I'm going to confirm that the channel looks the way that I want it to. If I need to make changes, I can hit back. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to submit that channel. You'll see right away, I get a notification from the app here. It's just going to give me some information about my request. And then if you just saw this pop up on my screen here, I got another notification up here. As the person that created the channel, I'm automatically added to the channel, and you can see it has started or it has invited the other folks that I requested to join as well. So you'll notice also that after I've used the app for the first time, it's going to show up in my sidebar under apps here. So if I need to create new channels, I can just click on that on the app in my sidebar rather than having to search for it. And then from the home page here, I can click on this shortcut button, this request channel shortcut, and it's going to pull up the same form. Okay. Let me just see the questions that we have over here. Okay, I see Mark has some answers coming into the chat, so thank you so much, Mark. Okay, so just to put some of these things into practice, I just want to give you two quick real-world examples to help you decide between public and private channels. So on the left, for example, we have agents in the same city that want to connect on, let's say, local market trends for something like that, and like the one that I demoed, which benefits a larger group of people or broad group of people. Public channel is going to be the most appropriate choice when you're filling out that form. On the right, we have a few agents, let's say, who might be co-listing a property. Maybe they need to discuss some confidential client details. For those more focused and sensitive conversations, private channels are definitely the right call to ensure privacy. One quick thing you might be asking, okay, well, why would I create a channel for this instead of, just setting up a DM with folks? If you have a ton of DMs with people that are with a lot of different people, just gonna show up as kind of like a mess of names in your sidebar, and you're gonna have to ask yourselves, oh, who was I talking about that deal with? Was it Maria or was it John? I don't remember. If you give the conversation a channel name by creating a private channel, it's going to be a lot easier to keep track of where you're having conversations. Okay, so now we know a little bit about how to request new channels. So we're going to talk about joining existing ones. So for private channels, as I mentioned, a member of that channel is going to have to invite you to the channel. But for public channels, you can find and join them on your own. And so to find and join public channels, we're going to find channels in our sidebar under the more menu. And that's going to show us all channels in your workspace. So I'm going to just head on over to my demo workspace over here, and let me just show you where to find that. So If I hover over the More button here, I'm going to scroll to Channels. Okay, and then this is going to bring up a list of all of the channels in my workspace. So at the top here, these are all the channels that I have joined. I can click to open this in my home sidebar. But let's say I'm interested in seeing other channels that I haven't joined yet to see what types of conversations are happening around the community. So from this filter drop down up here, from alt channels, I can scroll down to other channels. So I can either choose to show just the channels that I am already a part of, or channels that I haven't joined yet. And so I think that this is going to be a really helpful way of just kind of scanning and seeing what conversations are happening around the community. And then from here, you can quickly click the join button to join lots of channels at once. And then from here, let's say you're not sure if this channel makes sense for you to be in. You can go ahead and you can open in Home to review what's happening there. Not a lot happening in this channel just because it's I'm in a demo workspace. But if you review the channel contents and you decide, oh, I want to be a part of this conversation, you can just go ahead and you can click Join Channel. Okay, so we touched on this when we talked about the Grid Connection app and requesting channels, but you'll notice that all of our community channels have a really clear and consistent name, which is by design. So our channel naming standard makes it easy for everyone to find the right conversations, understand a channel's purpose at a glance, and it's also going to help keep your sidebar, so your list of channels in your Slack application, really neat and tidy so that you can always kind of navigate to what it is that you're looking for. And also these prefixes are going to be helpful if you're browsing channels to join channels so that you have an understanding of what each of the topics mean. So we'll make sure that we send this resource along in channel so that you have it handy. But this is just to let you know that this is the reason why all of our channels are named this way. Okay, so now that we have covered the concept of working in channels, I want us to actually get our hands a little dirty. I am going to ask us to do a little bit of practice. I see not a ton of folks have joined our training channel, so I'm going to ask folks that have joined, or Josh, if you have a link to the channel that can be posted again in chat, that would be great. Mark, if you can also grab just the name so folks can search for it, that would be great as well. But we are going to focus on reviewing some Slack best practices, and then we're going to practice some of them together. So first of all, we're going to talk about threads. So threads are really going to help us keep conversations organized around that original message. We're going to talk about emoji reactions, which are just a way that we can really simplify communication when you have a short response or when a message just needs to be acknowledged. At mentioning is going to help us get the attention of specific people while keeping the conversation visible to everyone else. And then finally, we'll touch just a little bit on message formatting and what it means to write a good Slack message. Okay, so one of the most important habits for keeping all of these busy channels clean and easy to follow is using threads. There are a ton of people in your agent community. There's going to be a lot of conversations going back and forth. This is like if you walk away from this training with only having learned one thing. I hope I teach you more than one thing, but if you learn one thing, please, 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 please get in the habit of responding to messages in threads. So instead of posting every reply directly to that main channel, which can create a lot of noise and make conversations hard to track, Threads are going to let you create organized discussions around a single specific message. This also means that all of the replies and follow-up questions are going to be kind of nested under that original post so that everybody knows who's responding to who and who's answering what question. It's just a really simple way to discuss a topic in detail without cluttering up the conversation for everyone else. So to start a thread, you're just going to hover over any message and you're going to click the little speech bubble icon to reply directly in thread. And in a second, I will pop over into my environment and I will demo this live for you. And then we're also going to practice together, but I have one other thing to show you before we get there. So the next thing is emoji reactions. So we just talked about threads, but what if you don't need to write a whole reply? Sometimes you just need to give someone a quick acknowledgement or say, hey, I saw your message. This is when emoji reactions can be really perfect. And then also when you react with an emoji, you're not sending a disruptive notification to that person. It's kind of like, again, like a quiet acknowledgement. So they'll see a little badge pop up in the activity icon in their sidebar so that they know that you've seen the message without interrupting their workflow. Some examples of emoji reactions that we like to promote. It really helps everyone sort of stay on the same page across the community if everyone's sort of speaking the common language. So I have a few examples of some common reactions up on the screen. The eyes emoji is a great way of saying like, I've seen this or I'm looking into this. I'll get back to you when I have an answer or when I've completed it. And then the green check mark can be used to show when you've actually completed a task or a question is resolved. Some other examples here, you know, quick clapping hand just for kudos and congratulations around the community. We really want to make sure that everybody's, you know, celebrating each other's achievements. And so I really encourage you to use emoji reactions for some of those things as well. Okay, so I'm going to pop into my demo environment to show you how to use threads and emoji reactions together. So I am going to head on over to this new channel that I've just joined, to our Chicago Agents channel. I'm in Boston, I'm Chicago, I'm all over the place. But let's say I'm a new agent in this channel, okay? And let's say I see Isabella's question about recommendations for a home inspector in a specific neighborhood. Let's say that I actually have an answer for Isabella and I want to respond to her question. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over her message. I should see this handy toolbar pop up when I hover over her message. And I see a few emoji reactions that I can choose from. You'll very likely already see the eyes there, but if you don't, you can just pop on over to find another reaction. And then you can go ahead and you can search for the eyes emoji. So this is kind of like telling, whoops, I picked the wrong one. I actually kissed her instead, which I don't recommend doing in the workplace. Two eyes, there we go, eyes. Okay, so this is kind of like telling Isabella that I have an answer for her and, you know, maybe I'm digging up some information. So then when I want to respond to her question, again, I'm going to hover over her message, and instead of the emoji reaction, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click reply in thread. And then let's say that I have a contact for her that I want her to, that I want to pass along. I can let her know I have a great experience with top-notch inspections, and I have a contact that I'll DM her. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to send this. I have my screen a little zoomed in for our training, so you can all see my screen really well. What you'll most likely see is something that looks like this, a split screen, right? So you have kind of like the main feed of the channel over here on the left, and then sort of your popped out conversation in thread on the right here. If you just want to focus on what's happening in that thread, you can also select this button to open in a new window. I'm not going to do that right now because it's probably going to mess up my presentation setup. But if you ever are seeing that there's like too many things on your screen, you can go ahead and any place that you see this icon, that means that you'll open a new window. Okay, so once I've finished responding to Isabella and I have answered her question, then I'm going to go back to her message and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hover and I'll just click the check mark emoji here. I'm going to give a quick example also of what someone else will see. So again, Isabella's not going to get notified by these emoji reactions, but if she goes into her activity bar, she should probably see some things up here. So some messages where folks have reacted to her message. She can filter things in her activity bar by reactions or places where she's mentioned or threads that she's involved in. So that's how folks can kind of keep on top of places where they are mentioned and messages are reacted to in the community. Okay, I'm going to head back to my deck here. I see we've had a few people join the training channel. That's awesome. So we are going to pop in. We're going to do a quick practice activity. So I am going to post something in our channel here. Let's just say that I am organizing a social event and I'm looking for ideas for like fun networking social events. So the first thing that we are going to do, the first thing I'm going to ask you all is to hover over my new message and place eyes on that message just so that we can see some of the reactions coming through. And then this part is always exciting if I can start to see some of the reactions kind of piling in. There we go. There we get my uptick. That's how I know folks are. That's how I know that folks are awake. All right. So then we are gonna go ahead. We're gonna hover over my message, and we are gonna go ahead and we're going to reply in thread. Hit the reply in thread. Mark wants to go to Topgolf. Always a good choice for company outings. Sunset Cruise. So just make sure, rather than in the main channel, that we're hovering over Mark's original message my original message, and we're replying in thread over here. And we'll start to see some things come in. Beach day, oh, everybody wants to go to the beach. Full contact football. I think that's a great suggestion for a networking outing, especially if you have some folks that you wish that you could tackle during the workday. Company sanctioned events let you do that. Cool. All right, I see folks getting the hang of it over there. That's awesome. Barbecue. Cool. All right, so now once you're done responding to my thread, let's go ahead and let's hover over the message. And once you've responded, let's hover over the message and click the check mark. So this is just going to let everybody know in channel that folks have responded. Do you see some folks replying to the main channel over here? That's okay. It's something that I see happen every single training. Instead of clicking down here, once actually folks start replying to, you don't need to hover over the message. You can just click on kind of this link over here that says replies. And if you click on that, that's going to open the thread on the right-hand side of your screen. Okay, lots of fun ideas. Thank you guys for humoring me and participating over there. I got us through that whole activity relatively unscathed, so thank you very much. All right, next best practice is going to really go for all responses and messages in general. So using @mentions to help get the attention of a specific person. So this is going to be especially useful when you have a question or request for a specific person and their answer is useful for everyone to know, right? So instead of sending a DM, you can post it in channel and you can mention that person that you're asking, which can be really helpful because it means that, again, that is going to show up in the activity bar for the person that you're mentioning. And then depending on where you're talking in Slack, the person that you mentioned may or may not be able to see it. So if you mention someone in a public channel or in a private channel that they're a member of, they're going to get sort of that badge notification telling them that they've been mentioned. If you mention them somewhere that they don't have access to, a private channel that they're not a part of, or a DM that they're not included in, they're not going to be notified. But I still think that it's really helpful to use @mentions in DMs because it gives a really clear indication to the folks that are that you're talking to exactly who it is that you are referring to. So let's say, do I only have one John in here? Okay, let's say you're not sure. Let's say you want to distinguish between like John and Johnny, right? If I go ahead and I mention this John here, the person will be able to see who it is that I'm talking about because they can hover over the name. They can message them directly from there. It's just going to make sure that we're directing folks to the right people. Okay, and then finally, just a quick note on formatting. No one wants to stare or wants to read through a huge wall of text. So I definitely encourage you all to take advantage of the formatting bar in the messages that you write, using bullets or numbered lists, using emojis even in your messages to provide a little bit of context. These can really help make your messages scannable and easy for everyone to kind of get the gist of what you're saying. So I'm going to quickly just recap this section. It's the first section, but it's also the longest section, so don't get too nervous. Just all the way back to the top of this section, reminding you just to know your audience, right? Look for that white EXP logo in the bottom corner of someone's profile photo. That's going to tell you that they are joining from the corporate side. Just keeping the mixed audience in mind as you're communicating in channels. Next, making sure that you are requesting channels wisely, which means always using our custom grid connection app to create those new channels, making a deliberate choice about whether or not it should be public or private, and then making sure that you're selecting the right option so that we're following our community naming standards. And then finally, collaborating as a team. So all about keeping all of these busy channels really organized by consistently using some of those core tools that we talked about. So threads, emoji reactions, and @mentions are all going to go a really long way. Okay, so we just covered some best practices for how to collaborate effectively as a community. I want to shift our focus a little bit from we to me. So in this section, we're going to talk all about some tools and features to help you manage your own time and attention as you're working in Slack. So we're going to focus on ways that you can find information in Slack and different ways that you can customize Slack so that you can focus on the things that that matter to you. And then towards the end, we'll also talk about the mobile app as well. So at the top of the session, and in order to join this channel, we probably use the search bar at the top of our application to help us find the channel that we are looking for. But I want to take just a deeper look at how you can use search to find what you need whenever you need it quickly, and to kind of go beyond just using the search bar, especially in a community of more than 80,000 people. Sometimes just by using keyword searches, you're not always going to find exactly what it is that you are looking for. So I'm going to head on over into my demo environment again. So let's say I'm looking for information about the launch of a new marketing campaign, and the word that I decide to search on is launch. So this is going to show me, I realize once I enter this, it's giving me results for campaign launches, but also for project launches or other company-wide launches as well. So I want to see if I can narrow this down a bit. We have a list of clickable filters at the top here. So let's say I know who it's from. I can select the person that I know that it came from. I don't remember who it came from, but let's say I do remember that it was in our marketing campaigns channel. So I still see, that's narrowed down my search results a bit. I'm still seeing lots of responses. Or lots of results. I don't want to have to click through all of these. So let's say I do remember that the message had an image attached to it, like a campaign brochure or something like that. If I head on over here to filters, I'll see the whole list of filters available to me. So I can select a date range if I have an idea of when it was sent. Like I said, I remember that this came with an image. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select images, and there are other options that I can look for as well, but I'm just going to try there and I'm going to search, and you're going to see that it narrowed down for me again. So just a really simple example to show you the power of some of those filters and the different things that you can use to kind of like narrow the haystack of your search. Okay, so I'm going to head in to talk about notifications and different ways that we can minimize distractions while we are working in Slack. So as we've seen, there's a lot of messages going back and forth. We've been told that Slack can feel a little noisy, but there are some really simple steps that you can take to minimize distractions when you need to focus and when you need to let others know when you're available. So I want to start with your notification preferences. So to access them, I'm going to head back in here. I have my slides. I think it's easier just to show you all. So to access them, you're going to click on your profile photo in the bottom right-hand corner, or bottom left-hand corner of Slack. You're going to click on your profile photo, and then you're going to scroll up to preferences. And this is automatically going to land you on your notification preferences. By default, Slack is going to notify you of all of your direct messages and anytime that you are mentioned. If you want to set a list of keywords, so like let's say that you are working in I don't know, Smithville, right? And you want to see every time someone mentions something about the Smithville market, you can also put that there in your keywords, and it'll show you a badge just like if you were mentioned. I highly recommend leaving these default messages or these default settings the way that they are, at least for now. But there are a few other things that I do want to call your attention to. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. To when I'm not active on desktop. So this is where you're going to decide when you want Slack to switch from notifying you on your desktop to when you want Slack to notify you on your mobile device. By default, it's going to kind of know when you're not active on the desktop, and it's going to shift your notifications over to your phone. But you have a little bit of flexibility here, even into how you get notified on mobile. I also want to call your attention to email notifications. So I'm going to click on this. This is actually going to pop me out into a new browser. Let me see if I can pull this guy on over here. There we go. So you may have email notifications set up by default to get forwarded to your email if you're like away from your computer or you haven't seen it or responded to. So if you're getting lots of messages or email notifications from Slack, I definitely recommend coming here and turning these email notifications off. I have mine set to never, If you're a little nervous about missing things in Slack, especially as we get used to working here, you can choose to have like an email digest summary sent to you that will come like once a day rather than notifying you right away via email. So those are definitely two things, at least, that I recommend that you take a look at. There are a lot of notification preferences to turn the volume up or turn the volume down in Slack. You'll get a feel for what works for you, but I do recommend once you have your hands on Slack, go to the preferences and just look through that list of notification preferences so that you know what's available to you and kind of tailor them to things that that you think will work best for you. You can always adjust them later, but that step is really, really, really going to go a long way to feeling like you kind of have control over the amount that you're getting notified. Okay, I also just want to call your attention quickly to some options for letting folks know where you are, how available you are, so that they know when they can expect a response from you. It also sometimes kind of signals to folks like, hey, I'm busy, maybe try again later. But there are a few options for making sure that you let people know what your availability is while you kind of get to control what you're notified about. So the first way to do that is by setting a status. So again, coming down to your profile photo here and scrolling up to update your status. Let's say I am commuting, okay? So I can say that I'm commuting, or I can also like write my own status if I want. Just did this for ease of demoing. Let's say that I know that it's only going to take me 30 minutes to get where I'm going, and I can tell Slack to automatically remove this after 30 minutes. And then I can choose whether or not I want my notifications to be paused. So in this case, maybe I don't want my notifications to be paused. I just want to let folks know, like, I'm in transit. It might take me a second to get back to you. But let's say you're in a meeting or you're facilitating a meeting, you can also decide to pause notifications when you set a setting. Okay, and you'll notice that it popped up over my profile. If you hover over me, it will show what my status is. And then the other thing, so let me just go ahead and I'm going to clear this status really quickly. One other thing, even if you don't want to set a status, you can always hover over your profile photo and you can just pause your notifications for a specified amount of time. So that's going to keep you from getting dinged even when messages come through. So those are just a few ways to kind of help protect your own peace and protect you from getting distracted while you're working in Slack. Really quickly, I want to touch on reminders. Let's say you see things that are going by that are important, but you can't respond to right away. You can really easily just set yourself a reminder for those messages to make sure you get notified to return to them later. So you're going to hover over the message and click those 3 dots that show up, and then just hover to remind me about this and set the time when you want to be reminded about the message. Okay, so I want us to turn to the Slack mobile app. If you have your mobile device handy, I do recommend downloading the Slack app and from either the Google Play or the App Store. But I want us to actually take the time to download and sign into the mobile app. And I'm going to show you a really easy way to do this. So this is going to be kind of like our hands-on activity here. So really quickly, the best way, my favorite way to log into the mobile app is if you're on the desktop app already and you head up to your sidebar up here. I'm going to zoom in just really quickly again. This should probably say like eXp community for you up here. So if you click that drop down and you scroll to sign in on mobile, it's going to pop up a QR code for you. Don't use my QR code. Use the QR code on your own application. But then you're going to take your mobile device and point your camera at the QR code, and that is going to make sure that you are able to sign in. Your first time that you do, it might ask you to confirm your email by sending you like a verification code to your email. You should only need to do that once, but I think that this is the easiest way for you all to get into the app. I am also going to post, I'm going to post kind of like a different version of the same activity in our training channel. So let's talk about how to do some of those things that we already talked about on desktop in your mobile app, right? So things like reacting to and replying to messages in Thread. So once you're signed in on the mobile app and you've found this channel from your app home screen, or maybe it's bolded because there are things going on in there, from your phone, you're going to long press that message and it's going to pop up all of the options that we just saw on the message in the desktop app. So that's where you should be able to really easily respond with or react with your eyes emoji. I see some things coming in. Once you react there, you can long press the message again, and then at the upper left-hand corner of your screen, it'll also give you an option to reply. So that's how you start a reply from your mobile device. So I posted another fun little icebreaker question in there if you want to practice replying in Thread from your mobile device. I asked one app on your phone that you can't live without. Lots of folks, Gmail, calendar, I get it. Me, it has to be Maps because I never know where I'm going. And so I always have Maps up on my phone. Okay, I'm going to leave that question for you in channel. Like I said, use it to practice if you like. I do want to keep us moving through. We have like one really quick section to get through, and I want to make sure that we get wrapped up by 10 o'clock. Just a really quick recap, we talked about different ways to use those clickable filters to sort of narrow your search results. We talked about different ways to minimize distractions with your notification preferences. And then we took a quick peek at the Slack mobile app, which I think that you guys will all really get a lot of great use out of. I'm going to round out today's session by talking about some different flexible communication tools for you all. So far, we've talked mostly just about messages. Sometimes folks think of Slack as a messaging app, but there are a lot of other really powerful, really great ways to communicate in other ways as well, either through audio and video clips or huddles, which is Slack's kind of version of a short call. One quick thing about messages, especially if you're working with agents from other time zones, this is a global community. I know everybody wants to respect each other's time. We do have an option for schedule messages, right? So let's say that I'm typing a drafted message here. Rather than just clicking the send button, if I come over here to the caret, I can also choose to send it later on today. I can choose to send it tomorrow or a custom time. So I might decide that I want to send a message to someone when I know that they have access to Slack and they might see it. Okay, and then so there are also going to be some other times when you want to share an update in a more personal way without scheduling a meeting. You can send a video clip. So video clips can be natively recorded in Slack and kind of uploaded to your to messages that you send. Clips are going to let you share your screen. They're going to give folks options for playback, like adjusting the speed and stuff like that, so they can watch it in their own time. It's a great way to also kind of consume content on your mobile device. One really awesome thing about clips in Slack is that Slack is automatically going to transcribe that clip for you. And then the transcript for that video is going to become searchable. So it means that the video is going to show up in search results. If you so let's say, for example, that example that I put that I gave earlier for, searching for a marketing launch campaign. Let's say that the marketing team posted a video about it. That video would show up in the search results, even if the video wasn't titled like campaign launch or whatever. If it's mentioned in the video, it's going to show up in those search results. Okay, and then sometimes it's just easier to have a kind of live conversation, right? So you can start huddles from any channel or DM. So you can think of this as sort of like an instant audio or video call. I think it's an especially powerful experience, a feature of the mobile app. So this is really perfect when you need to quickly debrief on something with another agent, or maybe you need to strategize an offer with someone. Hopping on a huddle rather than sending messages back and forth can be a really great way of doing that. Multiple folks can share their screen. So let's say that you're doing like a document review or an offer review. You can share your screen. Multiple people can share their screen, and it's also going to give you a dedicated thread under that huddle, so that, if you want to exchange documents back and forth, anything that you share with each other during that huddle is going to be preserved in your conversation or in your channel afterwards. Okay, I know I went through that pretty quickly, so I don't think we will have to recap too much. Gonna move us along just to some different resources that we have for you all. The best way for you all to get help with Slack at EXP is in your support-Slack channel, which is a public channel in your workspace. Or if you can't find what you're looking for there, emailing support@exprealty.com. And then, of course, we also have a Slack help center as well. So slack.com/help, or in your, you should also see this this question mark in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Okay, and it just, again, because I'm sharing in full screen, it like kind of popped out for me. But you can access help, Slack help, from directly within Slack as well. And then for your community, so support Slack at the top here, we have a list of FAQs for the Asian community. We have a folder of one-pagers. So if there are things that you feel like you still need help with, you have a question on the custom app, it's likely to be covered in here. And then finally, if you learn best by seeing, that's kind of how I like to learn. We've also curated a tip of or a list of our favorite video tips from the YouTube channel for you all. So that is all that I have for you guys today. Under the wire, 9:59, I'll take it. If anybody has any, where did my slide deck go? If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to stay on and come back into the Slack channel or into the meeting chat as well. But I won't hold anyone hostage. So if you need to drop, I'll just say thank you all very much for your time. And yeah, we're excited for everybody to get started in Slack.